Hey, good morning, you fine, fabulous book people. It is well read beard. It is a damn fine day to talk about a book. And today we are here for a book review. We're going to talk about The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Break through the blocks and win your inner creative battles. This is a cool book for creative people, for all people, really, because the rule is that we all have something in us that is original, completely original. No one else can do what you do, or I do, or we do, or not exactly right. I mean, I write songs, I play a little music, and the weird thing is the weird combination that has made up me. Now, don't get me wrong, I've never sold a song, I've never made really any money off of my art. Which is okay, and this book will tell you about that. But in doing this for 48 years and being a self-taught musician and a self-taught poet, so to speak, like my little mix, my little flavor is completely original. Like no one has my distinct combination, right? And you're the same way, and he's the same way, and she's the same way, and nobody's in here. I'm just pointing at random things, but you get what I'm saying. And so this book is instructional, but it's also inspirational. I mean, it's one of these things that is supposed to inspire us to leave our mark, to as Rick Rubin put it, and I read that Rick Rubin book, The Creative Act, a Way of Being or whatever, last month, and loved that one. 5 star, loved it. And I mean, the way he puts it is that we all have that innate instinct to leave that uh, figurative graffiti. I was here, right? It's the only way to be immortal. And like for me, like I deal with this resistance thing a lot because that's a big part of this book. It talks about resistance. I'll pause there and get into it. But this is my third Pressfield read. I read Do the Work, another similar self-growth type productivity piece. And then I went over and did I think this is probably his most popular um historical novel, Gates of Fire, about 300, the Battle of Thermopylae. Now, I'm digging his self growth stuff a lot more than his uh, historical fiction. Now, he's got a lot more like that. He kind of came to fame, I guess, with The Legend of Bagger Vance. He wrote that, which then went on to be a pretty big Hollywood movie. But yeah, anyway, just a lot of stuff about his life and about like the way he does it, how he gets up and sits down and makes himself do the work, to win the war of art every day. And it's inspired me. I mean, look, I don't have that kind of time. I mean, we all got day jobs, right? But I have been trying to sit down with the notebook open in front of me, for like 30 minutes. I mean, and actually put things, down on paper, and sometimes nothing comes out, sometimes something does, but there's a line in here that talks about, writers know that the real war, I mean, the hard part is not the writing. The hard part is sitting down to write. But here on the back it says, creative, Stephen Pressfield said, creative work is a gift to the world and every being in it. Don't cheat us of your contribution. Give us what you've got. Says, do you dream about writing the great American novel? Regret not finishing your paintings, poems, or screenplays? Want to start a business or charity? Wish you could start dieting or exercising today? Hope to run a marathon someday? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need The War of Art in this powerful, straight from the hip examination of the internal obstacles to success. Best-selling author Stephen Pressfield shows readers how to identify, defeat, and unlock the inner barriers to creativity. The War of Art is an inspirational, funny, well-aimed kick in the pants, guaranteed to galvanize every would-be artist, visionary, or entrepreneur. and the guy that wrote the foreword to this book, Robert McKee, says, as I closed The War of Art, I felt a surge of positive calm. I know now I can win this war, and if I can, so can you. So for me, resistance, of course, comes in the form of other shit to do, right? I mean, day job, um, parenting, household shit, but I'm at the tail end. I mean, I'm not, but I'm at the tail end of this parenting thing. And when I was young, I wrote a lot of songs. I played a lot of music. I played, nothing big, but I played small gigs. And I don't know that I ever want to go back to gigging, but I definitely want to get back into writing. And over the years, I've had bursts. I've had, you know, a couple month period where I'll write 20 songs and then absolutely lose it again. For me, that's the thing. Like, um, I call it the song catcher. I didn't invent that, but like when it's on, like, everything, every line from a film, lines from books, something somebody says, they all are, they're all fuel. They're all possibilities, right? But for me, like, it's turning that on and keeping it on because, like, most of the time in my day to day, I mean, throughout the last 20 years, again, I've got a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old. Um, it just hasn't been turned on much. And then also, resistance for me comes in a form of like self, I don't naysaying or whatever, self criticism, because again, I am a 48-year-old man who has probably written, I don't know, 300 songs, 300 original songs, and I've never, really like made any money or fame or anything like that. But so for me, like as a 48-year-old man, I can't write the way I did as a 25-year-old man. And when I was 25, I was really good at saying, we're just going to write it, we're going to put some music to it, we're going to record it, and if it sucks, we'll deal with that later. But now at 48, like I have a hard time even starting because I'm like, you know, you know, I mean, I'm blessed to have a couple good buddies that really dig my shit and always want me to continue to write and play. But other than that, there's not really, no one's out there waiting on me to do this, right? And so it's hard as a 48-year-old man to kind of attack this with the same vigor that I did at 25. And I bet that a lot of you that are creative people, maybe have similar things that are holding you back. And this book definitely encourages you to break through those things. But the big thing is resistance, and there's a lot of things in here that are super interesting. I mean, it talks about just all kinds of stuff. It's what I know. It says, yeah, okay, I already talked to you about this, but it says, there's a secret that real writers know that wannabe writers don't, and the secret is this: it's not the writing part that's hard. What's hard is sitting down to write. What keeps us from sitting down is resistance. It says, I mean, it talks about Hitler. It says, Hitler wanted to be an artist. At 18, he took his inheritance, several hundred kronen, and moved to Vienna to live and study. He applied to the Academy of Fine Arts and later to the School of Architecture. Ever see one of his paintings? Neither have I. Resistance beat him. Call it overstatement, but I'll say it anyway. It was easier for Hitler to start World War II than it was for him to face a blank square of canvas. And it's just absolutely full of good shit like this. This particular section is talking about resistance greatest hits. It says, in other words, any act that rejects immediate gratification in favor of long-term growth, health, or integrity, or expressed another way, any act that derives from our higher nature instead of our lower, any of these will elicit resistance. I'm gonna read a couple more and then we'll get out of here. But let's see what else we got here. As artists and professionals, it is our obligation to enact our own internal revolution, a private insurrection inside our own skulls. In this uprising, we free ourselves from the tyranny of consumer culture. We overthrow the programming of advertising, movies, video games, magazines, TV, and MTV by which we have been hypnotized from the cradle. We unplug ourselves from the grid by recognizing that we will never cure our restlessness by contributing our disposable income to the bottom line of Bullshit Incorporated, but only by doing our work. Yeah, but so this book is just full of cool shit like that. Like I said, inspirational but instructional on how to deal with resistance, how to finish the job, how to, write the thing that you want to write, or do the thing that you want to do, or start the business that you want to start, because, um, you know, another thing the book says is that, we don't procrastinate for the day. I mean, we procrastinate until our deathbed. Like we have great ideas. Have you had I've had ideas that, and it's just too hard, right? Like it's too risky. But I got a paycheck over here, and you get what I'm saying. But anyway, so definitely inspirational, instructional. I dug it. I mean, it's not the 5-star book that Rick Rubin's book was for me, but it's close. I gave it 4 stars. It's definitely my favorite Pressfield book that I've read. I've got some more of his shit sitting around here. I've got Put Your Ass Where Your Heart Wants to Be. I think I've got another one called Going Pro. So I've got some more of his stuff I'm going to be reading. But this is the big one. This is the one that everybody talks about. And again, this came down the rabbit hole from the Ryan Holiday YouTube channel, Pressfield. Actually, there's actually a video with him and Pressfield in his store, and they're walking around talking about books. So, but this is The War of Art. Creativity, productivity, self growth. I appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying all your books, all of them, books marketing, as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.